Oh, hello there, Internet. You just caught me catching up on a little bit of reading. It's been a rough couple of days. I've been pretty sick and feeling like I am without the means to get the proper healthcare to help me out. And that sucks. And moving forward, I don't really see much of an option for myself. And that sucks. And that's because this guy right here has suspended his campaign. Now, it's important for you to understand that suspending his campaign is different than ending his campaign. Let him explain.
On a practical note, let me also say this. I will stay on the ballot in all remaining states and continue to gather delegates. While Vice President Biden will be the nominee, we must continue working to assemble as many delegates as possible at the Democratic Convention, where we will be able to exert significant influence over the party platform and other functions.
Oh, by the way, you may be noticing that I'm doing this on my phone, so this mic isn't even plugged in. There's no real way to use it with my phone. That's because this morning, my laptop decided to crap out and die. Maybe it's because I put so many Bernie stickers on it, and it just gave up when he did, but it is what it is. I could really use your financial support in getting a new one, but let's talk about what we just heard, because I think that there's one more thing to add to what Bernie was saying there. Now, I watched this stream as soon as I woke up. I actually managed to catch it live because people were messaging me about it and it woke me up. And then I got on the stream and started watching, and I tuned out as soon as Bernie said Biden is a decent guy, because I don't on any level agree. And I'm going to be linking to a podcast where I talk about this in length, exactly what I think is going to happen within the parties, what we're going to see in the near future, thanks to the Biden nomination, thanks to that being concrete, and it's scary. So I really couldn't support that. And unfortunately, the clip I just showed you is what he said directly after that. And I wish I had stuck around even for a few more seconds to hear it. But I just couldn't take any more bad news. In addition to giving Bernie more leverage to influence the Democratic Party platform, I also think that if Bernie can still get a commanding amount of votes, even if he doesn't win another state for the rest of the primary, if he can still get a lot of people to dedicate themselves to vote for him in the primary, even after he suspended his campaign, that sends a real big fuck you to the Democratic Party. And not only that, it tells them exactly where we stand on this. You want to say you're Bernie or bust in a comment section on Facebook and tweet madly at Joe Biden about it? Sure. You can tweet Tom Perez for all I care. They're going to read it, and they're going to care. Their staffers aren't going to give a shit. They expected this. But if you actually go out and put your money where your mouth is in a safe way, I'm not going to be like Joe Biden and encourage you to go vote during a pandemic. But if you feel like voting for Bernie in a safe way, I encourage you to go do it if you still have the opportunity. That being said, much like we saw the Republican Party canceling their primaries to keep challengers out, the Democrats are probably going to do the same, even though it doesn't really change anything because there are other primaries other than the presidential one going on, and it's ultimately not really going to save many people because there's a lot of people who are still going to vote for local politics. So where do we go from here? Well, first I want to read you something that I wrote immediately after seeing that live stream yesterday and put up on Facebook. Possibly the biggest oof of 2020 has been Bernie suspending his campaign this morning. But I want to say to you, maybe not all hope is lost. See, Bernie did one amazing thing which gives me hope. He built the largest volunteer movement that the U.S. has ever seen. There were times we made millions of calls a day. If that can hold together at any level, and if Bernie can continue to push it forward, maybe we can have a previously unheard of level of lobbying power as regular citizens. You can be sure he will continue to fight for us. After all, Bernie is still in Congress. He can still shape the coronavirus response much more than Biden seems to be willing to. And at this moment, we have to be more willing than ever to fight alongside him. Now more than ever, we need to be placing calls on his behalf. We have to be willing to fight for his vision. We have to be willing to fight for someone who is not us. Because let's face it, that's what we were voting for all along. Not a person, but a vision. And now that we aren't fighting to get him elected, that doesn't mean that our fight is over. Wow, is it just me or does the voiceover feature in this app really sucks? Hashtag thanks, Premiere. But another thing that I want to say is that in addition to picking up where Bernie left off and continuing to fight for his policies, one of the things that I want to do is write phone scripts for my listeners and for my broader audience. And really anyone I can get to use them. To call their representatives and push. We need to become a citizen lobbying group. If we put the effort into calling senators and people in the House as much as we did calling people to get them to vote for Bernie, we might have a chance at real change. And we can't give up that chance just because Bernie's left the race. It's never just been about Bernie. Remember, his slogan is not me, us. So we have to pick up that mantle. But in addition to that, if you're looking for a way to vote in the general and you aren't one of those people who sees Donald Trump as so much of an existential threat and actually thinks that Biden has a chance, and I think you're misguided. I think you're throwing your vote away. But if you think Biden has a chance and you want to vote against Donald Trump in a meaningful way for someone who might actually win, I'm not going to shame you for voting Biden, but I think that you're misguided. What I'm personally going to do is vote for the Green Party, and I really hope that as many of us as possible will vote for the Green Party. And the reason for that is, even if they don't have a chance at winning, if say 30 or 40% of the Democratic Party that came out in the primaries was willing to vote for Bernie, and if even half of them are so upset that Bernie's not going to be on the ticket that they choose to abstain from voting for Joe Biden, if even half of them decide to come out and vote for the Green Party, and the Green Party gets 5% on a socialist ticket, or at least a semi-socialist ticket, that's even further to the left than Bernie's platform, then they have a real chance in 2024. They get federal funding. They get to be on the national debate stage. They get a lot of rights and privileges and get a lot of ability to be on the national ticket that they can't without that 5%. And I feel like, you know, with two almost equally terrible choices for president, you know, we got orange rapist or also orange rapist, economic conservative or also economic conservative, and add to that the loyal following that Bernie has, another party running almost the exact same platform, and a lot of us having been burned both in 2016 and 2020 and not wanting to be burned again in a general election, I think that we might be able to rally enough people to hit that 5%. And I hate to say this, but that's really the only chance that we have for meaningful change in the general election. And it really hurts to admit that, but at least it's something. In the meantime, we have to keep fighting and we have to keep pushing senators to remember working people when they're looking at writing these bailouts. Now, it's going to be another 2 weeks or so before they come back from their fucking vacation, because apparently they aren't essential, even though they have the power of the budget, the exclusive power of the budget, and we desperately need them to use that budget to bail us all out, increasingly not just us individually, but our states as well, which are losing our tax revenue through sales taxes, as we aren't going out and spending like we usually would and can't spend in person. We really need to focus on fighting for ourselves, fighting for our own survival even before the general election. That's what we have to shift to. And hopefully I will have a laptop that will be able to record a better video than this by the time I have some really cohesive ideas as to how that would work. But I might record another video like this. I don't know. You know, it's all really up in the air for me right now. I don't know what to tell you. 2020 has just been an unrelenting disaster. And we really have to fight even harder than ever now to make sure that it doesn't keep getting worse, even though in some ways it undoubtedly will. But we're going to have some fun talking about economics in some of the future videos. I'm going to talk about what I see for the future of economics over the next year, but also we're going to talk about modern monetary theory and those money printers going burr, burr, burr. That fun meme, because I've recorded something for... Oh no, that's on the hard drive that just got wasted. Oh wait, I could probably download it off of YouTube. Yeah, no, I didn't actually lose any of that footage. Sweet. Yeah, so you've got that to look forward to. I'm going to talk about future economics. I'm going to talk about modern monetary theory, and a little bit more about where do we go from here. You can also check out my SoundCloud page. I've been putting up a lot of podcast style audio things because they've been easier for me to quickly record, although can't really use this fancy mic anymore, at least until I get another laptop, so you know, I have to put that on hold. But I did do a really good talk on why I do what I do on this channel and my thoughts on the media and the future of leftist media. So that's worth giving a look. And all of that stuff is going to be in the description of this video. Also, since I have lost my stock outro, I would like to tell you that I'm not going to be relying on ads for this channel. There may be some platforms that this video gets uploaded where I don't have control over whether there are ads or not on my videos, but as much as I can help it, there aren't going to be any ads in these videos. Instead, I'm going to be getting all of my money from Patreon, from patrons who choose, who consent to give me their effort and value. Because, you know, your time is valuable, and I don't want to waste it on Donald Trump ads like I see on a lot of other leftist content that puts ads on their work. You know, I don't want, you know, I really think of that sort of advertising as billionaires just pitching their 2 cents at me because of how little each individual ad really pays. And I don't want to go down that road. I don't think that's cool. You can also support me on Ko-fi if you want to send a one-time donation. And on top of all of that, I am also having my mother knit these neat fox hats, these neat beanies like this. It's a little warm for wearing that already. But some of them are going to have ears, even cheek fluff, all sorts of stuff. You can decide what kind of hat you want. And really, none of the profits are actually going to my channel off of those. I'm rebuilding her house for her, and since she's putting in the labor, I'm basically going to pay her everything above the cost of the yarn and equipment into the fund to rebuild her house. So you will be helping a 70-year-old woman put a roof over her head, literally, by buying one of these neat custom-designed hats. I think they're really cool, and I hope that people in my audience appreciate them. Oh man, what else do I have to say? Oh, fuck. I guess I have to remember all my patrons. We've got Kali, who has been amazing to me as a patron. We've got Swoletariat, one of my favorite creators that has been supporting me pretty much since I got started. Big help. Thanks, Brocialist. Let's see. We got Holly Smith, who I think was actually my first supporter. Either Holly or Ranger Jenny, because I didn't check for like a month, and when I came in, I had both of them. I was like, wow, I didn't expect to have anybody, but I was just checking. So thanks to the 2 of them for having supported me even longer than anyone else. I also want to thank TX Watson, who is another content creator who is making some of the most deep and profound videos that I have seen on the interwebs. They're a smaller creator that has about half the subscriptions that I do, so go sub to them as well. They're pretty awesome. And then finally, I've got Hooligan Comedy, who is a channel that has been supporting me for quite a while. I don't remember exactly when they jumped on the Jackie Fox and Friends experience, but they've been a big support in the comments, and we have talked many times outside of all of this YouTube stuff, and he's just a great person, and I appreciate him, and you should check out his work on YouTube as well, because he makes a lot of funny dick and fart jokes. So if you're into funny dick and fart jokes, go check out Hooligan Comedy. Oh, man. I guess that's it. Like, I'm just rambling at this point, and I have no idea if I'm going to be able to cut this down in some, like, meaningful way using an app on my phone, but, wish me luck, and see you next time.